The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. New partners in the energy sector. Island Grid confirmed, along with Shell, as part of the BPL reform. But BPL's union president, the workers' union president, says workers remain in the dark on the future. And the government announces a new tariff rate for BPL. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strawn. In a moment, Duquessadine will be joining us. Also this morning, we're talking about Parkinson's disease this morning. And later in business, we are talking with Ahmad Thompson, who is a training and development coach and is launching a book and a whole lot more. We'll get all the details about that. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the Davis administration will enter into a partnership with Island Grid for the modernization of the country's electricity grid and transmission and distribution network in New Providence. Minister of Energy and Transport JoBeth Colby Davis confirming this yesterday. Island Grid is a partner of Pike Corporation, and its co-CEOs are Eric Pike and Mel Shibata. According to its website, the government will also implement the use of LNG, liquefied natural gas, on New Providence, which will be purchased from Shell. In addition to the partnership between BPL and Island Grid and the implementation of LNG in New Providence, the government's plan includes the building of utility-scale solar power in the Family Islands, the expansion of solar projects on New Providence, and an equity rate adjustment. Colby Davis saying that the partnership with Island Grid will extend the infrastructure capabilities beyond what BPL alone can do by bringing in a generation and T&D, transmission and distribution expert, to pursue much-needed upgrades. She said that Island Grid has over 60 years' experience in delivering what she called best-in-class energy infrastructure, and that the company's projects include work on Walker's Key, Grand Cayman, Grand Bahama, and Puerto Rico. She also said that there will be no job losses at BPL, assuring the workers of such. The minister noted that BPL is in dire straits, though, saying it operates 29 power stations on 17 islands, has amassed a debt of $500 million, and has loan interest payments of more than $28 million annually, and a $122 million pension liability. She says BPL has 90 megawatts of aged, obsolete generation assets that are teetering on the edge for New Providence and another 30 megawatts in the Family Islands, and that BPL spends $42 million annually on 145 megawatts of rental generation. Meanwhile, president of the union representing line workers at BPL, Kyle Wilson, says that he still has questions regarding how the government's plan to reform the Bahamas' energy sector will affect employees. Wilson urged the government to sit down and talk directly with the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union about those plans before things become contentious. He spoke to reporters shortly after Prime Minister Philip Davis and Minister Colby Davis announced the way forward for BPL. Wilson attended the event yesterday. At that event, more on what the near future will look like for BPL. Colby Davis announcing the reform measures. We'll begin with a reduction in base tariff rates across all categories except for those customers that use over 900,000 units of electricity a month. She said the government's plan includes the building of utility-scale solar power for the Family Islands, as we told you. She said the equity rate adjustment will take place July 2024 as well. Now, with the new rate, that is expected to begin in July. All residential consumers with low and moderate electricity usage will benefit, as the base rate tariff for the first 200 kilowatts per hour will be reduced to zero. Currently, customers pay just over 10 cents per unit for the first 200 kilowatts per hour used per month. She says the upper bands will stay the same, but, quote, even if you are a resident with a bill of around 200 kilowatts per hour, you will still benefit from the rate of your first 200 kilowatts per hour being reduced to zero. The commercial base tariff will drop slightly from 15 cents to 14.5 cents, and the temporary supply-based tariff, which affects the Family Islands, will drop from 16.38 cents to 15 cents. In other news from the House, the debate on the budget, Minister of Education Glenn Santa Martin highlighting improvements in attendance, literacy, and graduation rates over the past 2 academic years. She noted that the ministry's attendance unit continues to work to ensure higher attendance rates and credited the National School Breakfast Program with helping to bolster that effort. But Hannah Martin says there are still many parents who do not ensure their children are in school. Hannah Martin also noting that there's been a decrease in violence on school campuses. She highlighted the implementation of the School Resource Officer Program. She says there's been a decrease in stabbings and assaults, and that the school resource officers continue to be successful in taking contraband from students, including knives and dangerous drugs. A 26-year-old mother broke down in tears after she was sentenced for gun and drug possession. Gladys Newton of Mastic Point, Andros, pleaded guilty to possession of an unlicensed firearm, possession of ammunition, and drug possession with intent to supply at her arraignment before Acting Magistrate Lennox Colby yesterday. Police arrested Newton and her 62-year-old mother, Polly Ann Newton, following a raid on their home on June 5th. Police seized a 45 millimeter pistol, 8 rounds of unfired 45 millimeter ammunition, and 2 kilos of cocaine during the raid. The loaded gun was found in a shoebox in Gladys's bedroom closet, while the drugs were in a backpack in the same closet. When questioned by police, she admitted to agreeing to keep the contraband for an unnamed boyfriend. Her lawyer, Mario Gray, told the court that her emotions and decisions had landed her before the court. He implored the magistrate to temper justice with mercy when sentencing the businesswoman. ASP Lincoln McKenzie told the court that Newton didn't have any previous convictions. The magistrate considered the youth and previously unblemished character and early guilty plea when he sentenced her to 3 years for gun and 2 years for the ammunition. The sentences will run concurrently. Newton will serve a consecutive 2-year sentence for the drugs if she fails to pay a $36,000 fine before completing her 3-year sentence for the gun. And a 36-year-old man accused of molesting a preteen girl and rendering her unconscious denied bail. Kenton Capron faced 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse and 1 count of garroting the 12-year-old girl when he appeared before senior magistrate Shaka Serville. The crimes allegedly took place between August 1st, 2023 and September 30th, 2023. Capron didn't have to enter a plea to the charges and was remanded to prison. He's advised of his right to seek bail in the Supreme Court. Capron's matter was adjourned to August 29th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Overseas, Malawi's vice president and 9 others have been killed in a plane crash. The country's president confirming this today. The wreckage of the military plane carrying Vice President Saulos Chilima was located in a mountainous area in the north of the country after a search that lasted more than a day. There were no survivors of the crash. Hundreds of soldiers, police officers, and forest rangers had been searching for the plane that also carried a former First Lady after it went missing Monday while making the 45-minute flight from the southern African nation's capital to a city about 230 miles to the north. Air traffic controllers told the plane not to attempt a landing at the airport because of bad weather and poor visibility and asked it to return to the capital. Air traffic control then lost contact with the aircraft and it disappeared from radar. And towns in central and southern Puerto Rico are struggling to emerge from a prolonged power outage that forced authorities in the U.S. territory to activate an emergency response team and request food distribution to those in need. The outage occurred more than a week ago, leaving tens of thousands of clients without power after a transformer that twice exceeded its useful life collapsed. Officials with Luma Energy, which operates transmission and distribution for Puerto Rico's power authority, have said repairs could take more than a month. The announcement sparked widespread anger, especially since the outage has disrupted water service and comes amid daily excessive heat warnings with the Atlantic hurricane season underway. Some politicians are demanding that the governor declare a state of emergency. More than 40% of Puerto Rico's 3.2 million people live below the poverty line, and not everyone can afford generators or replace costly electric appliances damaged by the outages. Officials had transformed a music school into a huge kitchen as people cooked rice and chicken, delivering hundreds of lunches to hard-to-reach areas in the town where nearly a fifth of the population is over the age of 65. Chronic power outages have plagued Puerto Rico ever since Hurricane Maria struck in September 2017 as a Category 4 storm and raised the island's already fragile grid, but the most recent outage has persisted longer than most. Puerto Rico relies on power plants that use coal, petroleum, and natural gas to generate about 97% of the island's electricity, and efforts to switch to renewable energy are slow going. In sports, Kara Saunders continues to evolve in bodybuilding and fitness, earning her second pro card in as many years over the weekend. The 2-time overall national champion in women's wellness, victorious at the Toronto Pro Super Show and Pro Qualifier 2024, the Delta Toronto Airport and Conference Center. The 2-day event, a premier international pro qualifying and pro bodybuilding and fitness show, sanctioned by the IFBB, the International Fitness and Bodybuilding Federation Pro League, serving as a major qualifier for the 2024 Olympia competition for professional athletes. Saunders took home the title in women's open wellness class A, earning the IFBB Pro League Pro card. You can read more about her triumphs in today's Guardian Sports section. The Bahamas falling 2 games short of advancing to the 2024 Pony Baseball International 10 and Under World Series, falling to the Dominican Republic in the tournament semifinals in Panama yesterday. They lost 3-0 and will wrap up the regional tournament with 3 round-robin wins and a loss in the semifinals. Just the winner of the 2024 Pony League Caribbean and Latin America Zone Mustang Championships advances to the Pony World Series in California in August. And world indoor record set earlier this year by Bahamian Devin Charlton has now been ratified by World Athletics. Bahamian sprint hurdler Charlton produced the standout performance of the Millrose Games in New York in February when she sped to a world indoor 60-meter hurdle record of 7.67 seconds, taking 0.01 off the previous mark. Others were ratified as well. You can read about that in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NHL, the Florida Panthers just 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup, their first ever, as they topped the Edmonton Oilers right there in Florida last night, 4-1. They've again taken a 2-0 lead in that series. And from the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers offered Dan Hurley what would have seemed like a basketball coach's dream, a chance to coach one of the world's most popular franchises. But Hurley passed. He's staying at Connecticut, turning down the Lakers and ending several days of speculation about his future. The lure of trying to win a 3rd consecutive NCAA championship with the Huskies is evidently just too strong. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather for the morning. Abundant tropical moisture continues to stream southeastwards across the Bahamas and will combine with a mid to upper level trough over the area to generate cloudy skies, along with showers and thunderstorms across the country today. Beachgoers in the extreme northwest and in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents, mainly along east and southern coastlines. Boaters should be alert as there is a threat of waterspout activity and the potential for a few isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. Locally, heavy rainfall could lead to flooding in flood-prone and low-lying areas. Your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas: partly cloudy to cloudy, warm, and a bit breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution is in effect for the extreme northwest Bahamas. Wind southeast to south at 15 to 20 knots in the extreme northwestern islands and 15 knots elsewhere. Seas 4 to 6 feet in the extreme northwestern islands and 3 to 5 feet elsewhere. For the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy today with isolated showers and thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution in effect. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. Temperature-wise, we're already at 83 degrees. Cloudy skies. We're looking at highs getting up to around 89 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Ignite your leadership capabilities, expand your vision, and chart the path to a bright future at the CIBC Caribbean Ignite Leadership Conference, 27th of June at Bahamar from 9 to noon. Join Sarah Kunst, a venerated entrepreneur who has worked at Apple and Red Bull. Sarah is a Forbes 30 Under 30 Future Innovator and has been honored by the Wall Street Journal. Also hear about the leadership journey of Anthony Ferguson and Crystal Rutherford Ferguson. This event is designed for senior business executives and seasoned entrepreneurs. Register at cibcfcib.com/ignite to secure your space. Only successful registrants will be acknowledged. Join us for the Ignite Leadership Conference, June 27th at Bahamar.
Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center, your friendly and affordable vendor one-stop shop, where you can get all of your groceries, kids' lunch snacks, and vendor snacks items at the best prices in town. Don't believe us? Find us on Market Street in the red, white, and black building south of Chesapeake Road. We don't stock anything, we just buy deals, so you better get there first. Call us today at 698-0123 or WhatsApp 557-2522 or follow us on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates. Remember, always make us your first stop.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me As she does every Tuesday. Duquesa Dean. Good morning.
Good
Great
morning.
to see you.
Good to see you.
Hope we had a great holiday weekend.
I did. Nice and quiet.
Oh.
Inside a lot. It was ridiculously hot.
And very rainy.
Yes, I enjoyed
that
the
was
rain.
good,
yeah. But it was
A
so
change.
hot.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be saying that every weekend until October, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a lot to get to this morning. And coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about Parkinson's disease and what you need to know about that and here in the Bahamas. And then later in business, we're going to be talking with Ahmad Thompson. He's been with us a few times. He's a training and development coach, and he's launching a book and a podcast and a whole lot more. So he's going to tell us about that in business this morning. So that's all ahead, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, everybody's looking at their old bills to see how much they'll save if they don't have to pay for their first 200 megawatt hours of electricity. Well, you could buy lunch.
I'm actually
you could
looking
buy
at,
lunch.
yeah, I'm looking up to 200 kilowatts per month.
This is your bill?
It's my house, yeah, $21.90.
Yeah, somebody else showing me $20 for
Yeah.
them. And what's your bill normally? Well, that bill was how much?
$213.91.
$20. You
So,
could buy
yeah,
breakfast a
$20.
couple days and
Yeah.
buy lunch.
Some
Put
candy.
some gas.
That's don't
What?
do
No?
gas.
No gas.
your
No
candy,
gas.
candy.
Okay.
Breakfast and candy.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
You know.
Well,
Wow.
Well, you know, some people, especially if you've added solar to your house, I mean, they might end up with no bill.
Nothing. Well, maybe.
So, good for
but
them.
I mean,
We're going to talk a lot more about that in just a bit. Just wanted to get you caught up with this if you missed it. And we don't have to go into too much detail as to why I want to single out this story. If you listened yesterday, you know. But Andros woman found with gun and cocaine jailed. This is very fast. The
Quick,
wheels,
yes.
the wheels of justice. Boy, I tell you. Our Artesia Davis writing about this today. A 26-year-old mother broke down in tears yesterday after she was sentenced for gun and drug possession. Gladys Newton of Mastic Point, Andros, pleaded guilty to possession of an unlicensed firearm, possession of ammunition, and drug possession with intent to supply at her arraignment before acting magistrate Lennox Colby yesterday. Police arrested Newton and her 62-year-old mother, Polly Ann Newton, following a raid on their home on June 5th. Police seized a 45-millimeter pistol, 8 rounds of unfired 45-millimeter ammunition, and 2 kilos of cocaine during the raid. The loaded gun was found in a shoebox in Gladys's bedroom closet, while the drugs were in a backpack in the same closet. When questioned by police, she admitted to agreeing to keep the contraband for an unnamed boyfriend. Her lawyer, Mario Gray, told the court that her emotions and decisions had landed her before the court. Emotions and decisions. It's code for something. He implored the magistrate to temper justice with mercy when sentencing the businesswoman. ASP Lincoln McKenzie told the court that Newton didn't have any previous convictions, and the acting magistrate, Lennox Colby, considered her youth and previously unblemished character and early guilty plea when he sentenced her to 3 years for the gun and 2 years for the ammunition. The sentences will run concurrently, of course. Newton will serve a consecutive 2-year sentence for the drugs if she fails to pay a $36,000 fine before completing her 3-year sentence for the gun. The prosecution withdrew charges against Newton's mother following her conviction.
so she gone to jail for a dude? An unnamed person that she's holding drugs and a gun for, who's still unknown. And this happened June 5th and it's June 11th.
Unjailed.
Right. And unjailed. What?
See?
What?
The emotions and decisions must be good.
Something
That's all I
good.
got to say.
To just take the fall like that. Wow. There's so much more to this story, I'm sure.
I don't know if I want to know. But hey, well, look at that.
Yeah. Quick low. June 5th and it's June 11th.
Bam, bam.
Bam, bam, bam. Dwight, I don't like that smile. That's very interesting.
Just, another day in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
That's some love.
Boy, I tell you.
Or money. I don't know. Something. 5 years of your life. 3 years. Then 2 years. Then another 2 if you don't pay $36,000.
Where's that coming from?
$1,000.
Boy, that's a lot of money.
Wow.
And then pay it what? Before the 3 years are up?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Work that off in jail? Where are you getting that money from?
Hopefully he pays it. Hopefully the unnamed boyfriend
Boy, I tell you.
pays it to help it get out of there. Maybe she'll get out early on good behavior.
Oh, okay. She still has to pay the fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Unnamed boyfriend.
Unnamed. There's so many questions.
I just feel like we should just leave like a moment of silence for people to ponder this.
The unnamed boyfriend.
Emotions and decisions that can put you up, lead you into the court and into jail.
I like it. She's saying she ain't no snitch. She loyal. That's what she's saying. She loyal, Dwight. She loyal. 7 years of her life loyal. Potentially.
5.
Yeah.
5. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, there you go.
Y'all should see Dwight in the studio. He's just looking around like, I can't believe this morning.
Texter's asking, what did I miss? Well, you should go back on the website and listen to yesterday's show if you don't understand what's going on here. But okay, well, let's move on to what will affect most of us. BPL, New Partners in Energy, named, and I got to hand it to our competitors over the Tribune. They had a remarkably accurate article yesterday. They got the whole thing pretty much correct. Boy, I tell you. But yeah, so we heard basically the same thing yesterday morning when the Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy got together for this press conference to announce, call some names. I don't know if we have the exact plan, but we have an idea of what might come.
Right.
For more on this, take a listen to this report from our Vonnie Toot.
The Davis administration unveiled its plans for energy reform on Monday, including a partnership between Bahamas Power and Light and Island Grid for the modernization of the electricity grid and transmission and distribution network for New Providence. Plans also include building utility-scale solar power on the Family Islands, expanding solar projects on New Providence, transforming energy generation through LNG on New Providence, and an equity rate adjustment.
The partnership with Island Grid will extend the infrastructure capabilities beyond BPL alone can do by bringing in a generation and T&D expert to pursue much-needed upgrades. It is important to share that Island Grid has over 60 years' experience in delivering best-in-class energy infrastructure under the company's subsidiary, Pike. The company's projects in the Bahamas include projects on Walker's Key, and in the other islands, Grand Cayman, also in Grand Bahama, and they assisted in Puerto Rico. The partnership with Island Grid will lower the fuel costs and improve operating efficiency.
Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis said energy costs will be lowered through several mechanisms. ECF Consulting has been engaged as a project manager. Amid uncertainty expressed by BPL's unions, the Energy Minister offered this reassurance to BPL staff.
To the workers of BPL, I wish to categorically state that there will be no layoffs because of the partnership. There's no intention to offer voluntary separation program, and current industrial agreements will not be impacted.
Regarding the building of utility-scale solar power on the Family Islands, Colby Davis said they are currently negotiating partnerships with several companies. The aim is to ensure a consistent and reliable power output for the Family Islands 24 hours a day.
I'm pleased to share that the recommended independent power producers for Abaco is Verdant and Consus. For Andros is Providence Advisors. For Luthra is Verdant and Consus. For Exuma is NT Corporation and Osprey Construction. And Long Island, San Salvador, and the Berry Islands is Wilcom Technologies and Roswell Incorporation. Currently, we are negotiating the power purchase agreements for all of the named IPPs.
Colby Davis said groundbreaking will begin by the end of 2024. Each independent power producer is required to submit a rigorous training program for BPL staff. On New Providence, the minister said the government is negotiating power purchase agreements with 3 companies to integrate 70 megawatts of solar power and 35 megawatts of battery energy storage systems into the existing grid.
25 megawatts of the solar energy will be paired with the 25 megawatts of battery energy storage that already exists at the Blue Hills Power Plant. I'm pleased to share that the recommended independent power producers for New Providence are Eco Energy, NT Incorporation, and Compass.
Colby Davis also announced plans to construct a state-of-the-art 177 megawatt combined cycle LNG plant at the Blue Hills Power Station by 2026, noting liquefied natural gas will revolutionize energy generation in New Providence.
We aim to reduce overall energy costs, enhance the efficiency of our generation assets, and minimize environmental impacts. This initiative introduces LNG as a cleaner alternative to heavy fuel oil and automotive diesel oil. LNG is being implemented for efficient generation in New Providence to reduce the overall energy cost to the consumer, improve the efficiency of the generation assets, and reduce environmental impacts. LNG is being brought to the Bahamas as HFO and ADO is being transitioned out. The bulk purchase of LNG will be sourced from a partnership with Shell. Other partners in the LNG implementation will include Bahamas Utility Company as the independent power producer under a power purchase agreement.
Then there's the equity rate agreement, which is expected to make bills more affordable beginning July 2024.
All residential consumers with low and moderate electricity usage will benefit, as the base rate tariff for the first 0 to 200 kilowatt hours will be reduced to 0. The upper bands will stay the same, but even if you are a resident with a bill of around 600 kilowatt hour, you will still benefit from your first 200 kWh being 0. Note, everyone will still have to pay for the fuel charge for every unit they consume. The commercial-based tariff will drop slightly from 15 cents to 14.5 cents.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Toot.
All right. So let's talk about it. A lot said there. We'll get to what the union president is saying in a bit, but a lot of names dropped, a lot of companies, a lot of different plans, and that was what many people have been saying. Different islands, different regions of the Bahamas require different energy solutions, different solutions for almost anything. And one sock won't fit every foot. I don't know where I'm going with that, but sure, you get it, right?
Yeah, one solution won't fit all.
Right.
Yes, we know.
So it seems they are considering this and putting many different options on the table. But let's see how you feel about it, folks. We'll get deeper into the tariff thing in a bit. But just from what you heard yesterday, this partnership, that Pike Corporation, we heard that name months ago from the union president, and been hearing the name over and over the past few months, even though the government didn't quite confirm that exactly. But now they formed the Bahamian entity Island Grid. And let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-47 96. Getting some of your text messages before we go to those calls. Somebody says here, can we get all of the other criminal cases fast-tracked like that one? Well, they've got to have everything come together in the right way, right? You got to have the police do the investigation. And what led them to go and investigate that, though? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And then you got to plead guilty.
And then you got to plead guilty.
Right. If you plead guilty, you're wasting the court time.
So I don't know if they had much to investigate. But anyway, they went there, they found it, pleaded guilty, bam, 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 and everything lined up. And so if it isn't like that, then you have issues.
Yeah.
But yeah. Questions about the unnamed boyfriend. What if the boyfriend didn't want to? What if the police didn't want to name the boyfriend? Okay.
But why not? I mean, it's his stuff.
Well, who is the boyfriend?
Well, allegedly his stuff.
And who is the boyfriend?
Right.
This text just simply says, "For my man," no question mark. It's just
Okay.
I don't know. Minister Colby Davis reads very well. Can we find out exactly what the LNG component will look like? Where will the storage containers be located? And who will be the safety inspectors? That sounds important. I just want to know if my electricity will stay on, though. That's the most important thing. But I hear your question. That's a texter. That's a good question. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
How are you? Boy, I forget you. I'm so tired. But anyway, good morning to your guest, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning to your guest. The only thing I was hoping I would have heard with this BPL or this energy reform program would have been the government to at least consider putting the power production in the hands of homeowners. Because all you see happening is they just put a layer in between homeowners, consumers and BPL.
Power production in the hands of homeowners? What do you mean by that?
Okay. So the way solar works is right now they're creating these subgroups to generate power and to purchase power back from these companies who will produce power through solar. Okay. All of this is they're outfitting these centralized or concentrated power outlets or areas that will now be responsible for generating the power for the grid tied in. And they'll be buying it back from these companies through the purchase agreements. All I'm saying to you is instead of putting in a management layer to create power, you could simply just outfit the same money you're going to spend to outfit these islands with power. You could actually empower citizens, okay, to produce the power. So every home should be considered as a independent power producer. If you look at how the way power is produced, if you diversify power, meaning there are 39 constituencies that have homeowners. You want to raise, let's say for example, you're trying to raise 70 megawatts of power. You could do that just by outfitting 7,000 homes spread out across 39 constituencies to produce that power you need, or as much power you need. The cost to do this is less, and you create more jobs for the small man. Plus, you create relief for your homeowners, and you allow them to now go into contractual agreements to purchase power from your homeowners, which would now put more money in the hands of homeowners who really need one.
Okay, so we have grid tie now, but you're saying the government should have outfitted people's homes with solar.
Yes, because if you target in a scale, BPL has a registry that could determine who doesn't pay light bill and who pays light bill. You could balance it. Persons in poor or poverty-strict communities who are struggling, you could outfit them with the system. Eventually get paid off over the credits, over the savings, over the money they're making. They get paid off. So they ain't like it's a gift. So if we go into loans, we go into these programs where we go and borrow this money, you're telling me the government can't take a bet on their citizens for once, or they have to go bring in companies to produce power for me with the promise to reduce my power when they could just simply outfit Grammy House with solar 10 times 7,000 people or 8,000 people, and to create relief directly to your citizens? You tell me in 2024, because I'm an independent politician, I'm a candidate of the Bahamas, and so I'm sitting here thinking, when would our people stop allowing governments to tell me I can bring in A to make life easier for you? It doesn't make no sense as young men. I'm 41. You should be about the same age. Think about it, brother. I don't know if you're a homeowner, How would that benefit you being a part of a collective program to produce power for your nation, be paid, and create savings for yourself? And you wouldn't go with that idea? If it's more feasible, more cost effective and efficient for you and the society, and allows you to save money on your fuel purchase to these corporate companies who are owned by the same people, and we're about to go in the degree with Shell for the LNG. Come on, how much time we can empower the same corporate people?
I hear you. It's a very interesting idea. I mean, if you hear how much in debt they are, I don't know if they have the money that would be able to buy all the equipment to do this for everybody.
Do you know that they're spending money to help these companies outfit solar islands? So it ain't like they ain't like Treasury ain't coming up with money, brother.
Yeah.
So if you look at the cost to outfit a particular system on homes, residential homes, to go towards a goal to collectively produce power, that's networking power. So when there's areas of certain areas or certain times when they're overcast or rain or bad weather, at least you don't have the grid in one area. There's still areas around the country that are producing power. It'll still be efficient for the country versus having it in these one areas, and then that area have bad weather or the sun isn't out. So now that grid in that particular area is affected versus diversifying the power.
Yeah, I hear you.
Concentrated power. And then it doesn't cost the Bahamas government nothing to sit with their engineers and their technocrats to come up with a plan.
Well, I don't know if it costs them nothing, but I hear you. It's interesting. In theory, thank you very much, caller. I think the government of the Bahamas has got its tentacles in too many things and is too concerned about protecting businesses to do that, because they're encouraging. Well, they're not discouraging you from doing this yourself,
right? Yourself,
and that provides a lot of business for a lot of other people. People are going to bring all the equipment in through, all the technicians to hook it up and all that stuff. So if they did that themselves, it could impact some other aspects of the economy.
How do you
but I do understand. I get your point. It's interesting. It's we've seen that in some other places.
Who gets what? How do you decide?
Yeah. Well, I suspect
where
if
you're
you're
gonna
in
put
good
it
standing,
right? Like how do you without it? Why them get it in that area and we're not getting it in this area?
Yeah. Well, if you have a massive bill, you probably should.
Yeah.
But interesting.
It is interesting.
But yeah, again, the startup for that probably would be a little. It might pay off in the end, but it's not a horrible idea. Yeah. Definitely not. But definitely not the way they're going to go. Clearly. Good morning, caller. What say you?
Yes. Good morning, both of you. Good morning to the wider Bahamas.
Hi.
Just let me say, Dwight, what Mr. Kareem Hanschel just said to you is it's about as simple as it can get. It's not a complicated process. It's not. I mean, with the exception of choosing the people, it is absolutely the option I should have been taking. We could generate, with 5 square miles, we could generate 100% of the energy that's needed during the daytime. Whether it be over water on South Beach, they often say, this is the excuse BPL has given us over the years. We don't have the space. Do you think on a 7 by 21 with the roofs, the parking lots, the water, everything else, that we have 5 square miles? Of course we do. But this then brings you to the fact, I didn't hear any plans. I heard a press conference announcing things to happen, an IPA to happen to be negotiated, a PPA to happen to be negotiated, plans for an LNG. They did not bring us a strategy. Did you hear how we are going to address the rebuilding of the grid to do what Mr. Hanschel said? The smart grid that we need to build. We have a grid that, I think in your newscast you talk about Puerto Rico, right? The collapse of Puerto Rico grid because of age infrastructure. We are facing the same thing. I'm not saying this. The Prime Minister says this. I've said it for years. The Prime Minister said it, as well as the Minister of Energy, that within 3 years we could have a catastrophic collapse of the grid. Where is the strategy to rebuild the grid? For integration of the microgrid, because essentially, Dwight, in case you didn't understand, Kareem was speaking about a microgrid system across a smart grid being built in. We talk about this over and over again. But when we say you can bring an energy strategy, right? People around the world we're competing with is paying sub 10 cents for power, a strong infrastructure. We are now in the 21st century. You hear the Prime Minister say, oh, it's absolutely in a pre-21st century grid. But if we are in the 21st century, then where is the strategy to build the grid? And you talk about who's going to pay for it. We pay for it every single day. I don't care how you redistribute the chairs on the Titanic, it's still the Titanic. What I mean by that?
Really quickly, we've got a lot of calls.
No, I'm saying this. Think about this, Dwight. No matter how we move the bill around, whether we put it on the shoulder of businesses or whatever we put it on, right? Ultimately, the consumers pays. Dwight, no business in the Bahamas, not even the Nassau Guardian, pays electricity bills. It is incorporated into the service and products you produce, meaning the consumer pays no matter what. So we must come up with a comprehensive strategy to replace an aged grid system, to put it on paper so that we can see it, we can go and peek it, and the next administration coming in can have the blueprint of what has been established, not your verbal communication. We want to see, we want to touch it, we want to read it, we want to critique it, we want that. Please, Mr. Prime Minister, bring us a strategy, a written strategy of what, when, where, how, and who will do it. Thank you so much.
All right. More details. Yeah, we got the who, but how and the exactly what. All right, let's take these calls really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, good morning to you again.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you, C. Allen, for putting it succinctly, right? But I coming from the street level. Don't trust them. BPL, do not trust them. BPL Union, don't trust them. They tell us the same thing to PTC. And look what's happening to PTC. Do not trust them. Let's find out who are the shareholders and who behind these companies. As cheap as I can put it. Don't trust them. Thanks, Dwight.
Okay. Boy.
Wow.
Wow. And let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, DeCressa.
Good morning.
Hi.
I could not do a better job than C. Allen, Mr. Hanschel, or the previous caller, because all of us are under the same impression. We want to know who are the persons involved in this process. We want to know which politician also may be involved in this process in the background. We have all these things. And something that Mr. Hanschel said that was very, very important, and it is, when is a government going to come to the people and get the people's input into these things? The average ordinary, everyday citizen who may have knowledge about these things, when are they going to come to the people and actually have this and have such conversations such as this? Why is it that we are always fed what they believe, but they do not come to the people and have the people's input into these things? This is something that I'm going to continuously impress upon until the day of the election, because the people's voices out here are much more important than the voices that sits in Parliament. And until the people get to understand that and take the power from these politicians and demand that their voices be heard, we will continue getting these gray lines, these blur lines, and all this stuff. We will continue to get the rhetoric until we find some solutions to fix this country. That's all I'm going to say for now, Dwight.
Okay.
But Mr. Hanschel, thank you so much for it, because I understand where you're coming from. C. Allen, continue the great work. And my good brother, continue the great work. We must agitate these politicians to give the power back to the people. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks a lot. This text here, the caller on the distributed solar network has a good idea, but it has complexities of the government having to ensure that all the rooftops are structurally secure to support solar installations unless they have available yard space. Yeah, there's a lot more as well.
It's not as simple as it sounds.
But again, I don't. If a group if some neighbors want to come together,
right? Because you talked about that before.
Yeah,
like just
I've said that. If you and your next door neighbor, I've said this before, right?
You can do it.
Do the grid tie-in,
share,
work
right?
it in something. You can't officially be a power provider to somebody else,
right? Correct.
But
you could work collectively to do it.
You probably could, right? If you have 4 yards, right in the corner there, put a little little grid right in the four corners, maybe. And
it's possible.
tie it in.
Yeah.
Get all of your bills down if your neighbors cooperate like that.
Yeah. Work together.
Who knows? Maybe a whole street might want to. You've got a neighborhood that get along.
Yes, there are neighbors.
There are all kinds of
that-
things.
Yeah.
Are there?
Yeah.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, good morning, Dwight, and good morning to Quest.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing well. Dwight, what's going to happen if a next administration comes in and don't like this plan? What's going to happen then? All the money, it'll be other people's money, presumably, that have been invested. But just to segue a bit, how is that Ragged Island project going? Is it running efficiently? If you would recall, it was supposed to be completely off the grid and solarized, and it was supposed to be the first green island in the Bahamas or whatever it is. Can we get an update on that?
It would be good too. It would be good to get one. Yes. Last thing we heard was that it was fine, but yeah, we haven't heard anything in a while. But that is, somebody asked about that yesterday as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And one more call. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning. Are you there? No. Okay. Let's take some more messages before we go to the break. This person says here, this is back to the gun and drug lady. That lady has to be the stupidest woman I know. So now she's in jail for an unknown boyfriend. Make it make sense. I'm sure the police know who the boyfriend is. That's the text.
I'm sure there's a payoff somehow, somewhere.
What now?
I'm
What?
sure, Dwight.
What'd you
Who
say?
just gives
What'd you
up
say what?
that period of their life to protect an unnamed source without some...
You can't be sure.
Without some, what's in it for me benefit?
How can you be
what-
sure?
What's in it for her to go to jail?
Well,
just
her
doesn't-
mom didn't go to jail. That's
Doesn't,
all.
yeah,
That's-
but she could have not gone by giving the true name of the owner of the drugs and the gun. So, yeah, I agree.
Wow. This person says here, Bahamian people love to gossip and be messy. If they would have put the same effort into bettering themselves and not into other people's business, maybe the Bahamas would be a better place. I think we can say that about the whole world.
Yeah.
The IPPs are required to fund these projects. Government is not doing any initial capital outlay. Okay, so that is also another reason. Like I said, they don't have the money to outfit
Correct.
everybody. It
Correct.
sounds wonderful. And the you'd be, it's not quite lipstick on a pig, but the system is so bad, it still is going to, who knows if it can even handle that type of tie-in.
No Band-Aids.
But maybe there are other places in the country where the grid isn't as horrible as New Providence, where that might work. And it would be good if they could consider something like that. Same players under different names. That's what the person says about what's going on here. Wow. And
But that company, Pike, has a strong reputation outside of the Bahamas.
And in the Bahamas,
Yeah, they
apparently.
actually, so perhaps that's a bright light. I don't know. They have a proven record of efficiency and such. Now, will they be allowed to do what's necessary to bring that about here? It's a different question. But I think it said something about, what did it say, 60 years? I think it
was
said
a big
about,
number.
about 60 years
50 or
of
something.
experience.
Yeah.
So.
Looking again at the names of the places that the minister mentioned. Walker's Key, small. Grand Cayman, small. Puerto Rico, a total mess. And Grand Bahama, small. So this will likely be the biggest
project.
Well, Puerto Rico's big, but hopefully not the same results. I don't know what they did for Puerto Rico, but as we heard this morning, Puerto Rico might be trying to compete with the Bahamas for having the worst system in the electrical
that sure
grid
doesn't bring
in the
much
in the
confidence.
region. But they've been out a week.
Yeah.
A whole week. A week.
Wow.
And no hurricane. Just a bad, a transformer fell.
Wow. A week. Wow.
We'll take this call, then we'll go to the break. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
All right. Good morning to the question.
Good morning.
I put it to you too. You're saying that if a couple of members in a small community wanted to do that, they could go ahead and do the same thing with regard to the solar stuff, right?
Clear everything with the regulators and the right. As long as you're not providing it for somebody else and just for yourselves,
Not for profit, right?
And not for profit, right? And
Yeah,
you do a tie-in, or unless you take yourselves off the grid entirely and just
I put it to you. I put it to both of you.
that legally
the
could be
same
very
thing-
messy.
I put it to both of you that the same thing that you are saying on a smaller grid is the same thing what Hanchel is saying on a larger scale.
It's not.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not the same
but
thing.
The difference is, allow me to explain, the difference is that the people of the Bahamas will benefit greatly. You see what I'm saying? Will benefit more greatly. It's
That's
just
not
that
that's not the only difference.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
No, you have to put.
You have to pay.
You have to pay. You were saying the government should do this. It's very different.
But regardless, all of that can
No,
be
that's huge. That's a huge difference. Because you don't have to wait on the government.
But let me say this. Anytime that it comes to a point where the people of this country have an opportunity to benefit greatly, it seems as though the government is always taking the road of not allowing it to happen. And that's been happening for years, and it's terrible that the government of the Bahamas continues to disadvantage or keep to a disadvantage and not allowing people to benefit and to grow. We're in the 21st century, as Hudson said, as C. Allen said. By God, the people have an opportunity to benefit greatly. The whole Bahamas, we can do that, we can benefit. But yet the government still take a role on not allowing it, take the road of not allowing people, the masses of the people to benefit. This is terrible.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
That's a lot of money, folks. That would be a lot of money.
I mean, I think it's great that you can just grab your own power back and form your own little cooperative thing and, do your thing, right? Without waiting for rescue. Kind of.
That won't be as easy as it sounds either.
I know, but you can take action.
Or you can do it independently.
Right.
Do it independently. But if you expect the government to do it.
And considering the fact that the grid is how many years old and it's been in the poor state that it's been, we've been having blackouts when I was a little girl. And I old now. So, I mean, sometimes just looking at the expectation that the same...
Listen, let me tell you, if people think the government's going to be that willing to do something like that, ask many people how much their deposit was for their beloved BPL, BEC. Right? And that varies depending on all manner of foolishness.
Right.
I think for me it was only like 200, but people were scaring me like, oh, your deposit's going to be big. Only because of the situations they had.
Right.
And based on the usage of the previous owner.
Right.
Or the
Which
previous
has no
tenant.
bearing, right.
And based on the bill, how much they left over and all this stuff. Like, what? So if that, they won't take that into consideration that you are a new person, that you don't have any history with us. Why do you think they would just put solar on your house?
No, they won't.
They should do that. That would be beautiful. But why would you think any government of the Bahamas would do that?
That's my
and
point.
Put it on everybody's house
Establish
to help the.
Look at the expectation.
Your beloved electricity company doesn't help you when you have these situations. They're not reasonable when you come to them and say, I am a brand new person. I don't know who used to live here before. I don't know anything about this situation. Why would you put that deposit on me?
Right. Correct.
So you really think they're going to help you put up solar so you could? Sure. No. Bahamian people, you're going to have to take this into your own hands. Regardless of who these companies are and what this is, find your way.
Correct.
To not be dependent on whatever madness comes out of this.
Agree. No, I totally agree.
And a lot of people can't do it.
I totally
It's
agree.
going to be a lot of money. But save up, forego some trips, maybe. I don't know what it is.
Going to ASU.
Do something and see if you can get a little piece of solar so that you can be a little less dependent on whatever comes out of this deal.
Because I saw this weekend alone, there were a couple of people saying that their electricity was out from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's I mean, that's torture. It's literally torture to be in this climate without having the capacity to cool yourself and your home down because you have no stable electricity.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's take one more call, then we got to go. Good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight.
Hi.
Good doing?
Morning.
Poppy, I'm trying to find out. They saying this thing's supposed to start in July with the light bill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the tariff
Yeah.
for the under 200 kilowatt hours.
All right, so to keep it simplified, make it simple and dumb it down so all us who might not understand what that means. The bottom line is that after July, we could expect from these new companies or partnership with the government doing, our light bill could be cheaper or it can go
Not
down.
necessarily because of the partnership, but as of July, your first 200 megawatts, kilowatts, whatever the term is on them.
Right. Okay. I guess I give them the benefit of the doubt. I know persons are asking questions already, who the shareholders, where these people come from, and who they were serving before and everything. All of that is important. But if they get our light bill to go down and keep the light
They haven't done anything. But this is something, a little candy to make the medicine
I don't
a
even
little
call
less,
it candy, though.
right? Because they
Miss
could.
Dean.
Hi.
I wanted to say this also is that I believe I could sound annoying sometimes. It might be wrong for me to like to play journalist, right? But I know Dwight, when I ask him the question, he sometimes sounds like he annoys sometimes. So this the last time, as playing a journalist, right? Am I to expect the Guardian or any of these news radio stations right now from 2 weeks ago to be pressuring the office of the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, to get some kind of wording or some kind of respond to the Bahamian people for the action for the financial control or a couple of weeks ago live on TV? I mean, this is the last time I'm not a journalist, but is the Guardian or is those news reporters pressuring the Prime Minister or the Minister of Finance to get some kind of answer?
Well, they certainly won't care what we say. It's up to you all if that's what you want, the Bahamian people, right? And they're going to say, if that's what you want, it's up to you. When do they listen to us? It's up to you all if that's what you want. If you feel that will make a difference, or if that's something that we need to move on from. But okay, let's go to the break. We'll pick this up on the other side. Callers, texters, we'll get back to you. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
But I don't wanna hide, but I don't wanna feed this monstrous fire. Just wanna let this story die, and I'll be alright. We can't be friends, but I'd like to just pretend. You cling to your papers and pens. Wait until you like me again. Wait for your love, I'll wait for your love.
Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Here's what's happening. We've got abundant tropical moisture continuing to stream northeastwards across the Bahamas that will combine with a mid to upper level trough over the area and generate cloudy skies along with showers and thunderstorms today. Beachgoers in the extreme northwest and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution as there's a risk of rip currents along east and southern coastlines, and boaters should be alert as there's a threat for waterspout and funnel cloud activity, along with the potential for a few strong to severe thunderstorms. Today we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy, warm and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across the northwest and central Bahamas. For the southeastern islands, variably cloudy, warm and breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures getting up to around 89 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. For your extended outlook, unsettled weather will continue across the country courtesy of abundant tropical moisture surging northeastwards across the area and interacting with mid to upper level troughing, shifting eastwards across the country over the next few days. The tropics are quiet, though no tropical cyclone formation expected during the next 7 days. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales invites you to discover the world of electric vehicles. There are 3 quality brands and many models to choose from. Sedans, SUVs, and pickups are all in stock, even commercial vans and trucks for your business. The road to sustainability starts with a single test drive. Visit easy242.com and get on the road to a better electric future.
96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. And now at 8:25, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Okay, so we've got abundant tropical moisture that continues to stream northeastwards across the country, and that's going to combine with a mid to upper level trough over the area, and that will generate cloudy skies along with showers and thunderstorms. Beachgoers in the extreme northwest Bahamas and in the southeastern islands should exercise caution as there's a risk of rip currents, mainly along east and southern coastlines. Boaters should be alert as well for waterspouts and funnel cloud activity, along with the potential for a few isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. Plus, locally heavy rainfall could lead to flooding in flood-prone and low-lying areas. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy, warm and a bit breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution in effect for the extreme northwest Bahamas. For the southeastern islands, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft caution in effect for boaters. Temperatures today getting up to around 89 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 76 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. In your extended outlook, unsettled weather will continue across the country, courtesy of abundant tropical moisture surging northeastwards across the area, interacting with mid to upper level troughing, shifting eastwards across the country over the next few days. So, tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy, warm, and humid with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Some showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Thursday, again, mostly cloudy, warm, and humid. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Showers locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. We're going to be in for it for the next few days, folks. Tropical weather outlook. The tropics are quiet still. No tropical cyclone formation expected through the next 7 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all of your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And 8:27, time for a check of your traffic for today, brought to you by RBC. Get a no-fee auto loan with up to 100% financing. Just a reminder of the work going on East Bay Street, just east of the Paradise Island Bridge, the bridge heading back to New Providence, the old bridge. It's not pretty on East Bay Street, folks, and so keep that in mind if you're in the area. It's causing some slow-moving traffic with your commute, and more challenging in the evening commute, of course. With your real-time traffic at this hour, we're seeing a number of hot spots. We've got Milo Butler Highway, as usual. Heavy traffic well south of the Fire Trail roundabout from about Bellet Road straight through to Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. If you're heading northbound, traffic backed up eastbound along Fire Trail. And even a bit south, you've got at the Milo Butler Highway and Carmichael Road junction there, along with Faith Avenue, that area looking pretty congested for you at this hour. 6-second roundabout also busy for you, eastbound on JFK Drive, southbound on your Providence Highway. And over on Gladstone Road, it is busy from Fire Trail straight up to John F. Kennedy Drive this morning if you're heading northbound. Carmichael eastbound to Blue Hill Road, not looking pretty there. Slow-moving traffic from just east of Fire Trail straight through. And Blue Hill Road is going to be busy from St. Vincent straight through to the roundabout with Independence Drive if you're heading northbound. Independence Drive backed up as well, westbound this morning. Soldier Road East Street north of the Soldier Road intersection looking congested both directions, but mainly northbound. And Soldier near Windsor Place, slow-moving traffic there. Big hot spot is Robinson Road as usual between Soldier and East-West Highway if you're heading westbound. And some building traffic, slow-moving traffic for Soldier Road northbound toward Bernard Wolfe and Village Road. That's your hot spots, and that's your Morning Blend traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/carloan/all of you for more information.
RBC. Are you buying a home, renovating, or exploring mortgage options? With cash back and up to 90% financing, we'll find the perfect mortgage for you. Pre-qualify in just 60 seconds and get connected with a mortgage specialist today. Visit rbc.com/mortgages/all of you. RBC. Conditions apply.
Are you tired of the hustle and bustle of city life, yearning for a relaxing getaway without the headaches of international travel? Well, we've got just the thing for you. Escape to paradise without leaving home with our limited time 2-fly free offer for Bahamas residents. Whether you're craving adventure, seeking to reconnect with your roots, or simply yearning to unwind in secluded shores, the Family Islands has something for everyone. But you better act fast because this incredible 2-fly free offer is only available until June 30th. Don't let this opportunity slip away. So why wait? Book your trip today. Escape the ordinary, discover the extraordinary, and experience the magic of the Family Islands. Visit BahamasResidence.com for more information and start planning your ultimate island getaway today.
Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for a brighter tomorrow. From epilepsy management to specialized spine care and brain tumor surgery, we're delivering world-class neurology care for the day-to-day, for the days you live for every care in the world. Visit clevelandclinicflorida.org/Caribbean.
Attention all Dunkin' lovers.
Are you ready to fly away this summer? Dunkin' has an irresistible offer just for you. During the month of June, every purchase of a dozen donuts at Dunkin' enters you for a chance to win big in the Father's Day Flyaway. 2 lucky winners will jet off on Bahamas Air with round-trip tickets to any Bahamas Air destination. Dads flying on Bahamas Air on Father's Day receive a special Dunkin' treat. Visit Dunkin' today and enter to win in the Father's Day Flyaway. The Bahamas flies on Dunkin'.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from around the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time.
I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326-EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we can sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And I'll be alright. We can't be friends, but I'd like to just pretend. You cling to your papers and pens. Wait until you like me again. Wait for your love, my love. I'll wait for your love. Me and my truth, we sit in silence. Baby girl, it's just me and you. 'Cause I don't wanna argue, but I don't wanna bite my tongue, yeah, I think
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean on this Tuesday morning. So we're talking about the BPL announcement, what the government is saying, new partners in the energy sector. So people are saying they need more details, and I suspect that is coming. All we know is that so far no job losses for BPL workers, but how will it work? What are the timelines? When can we expect to see changes? Yeah. All those details, not yet. But hopefully soon. Yeah. Hopefully soon. The only thing we know is that the new tariff rates, as we have talked about a bit.
And who the company is, Island.
Yes, Island Grid and some of the other partners. For some of the little microgrids or things they're going to be doing for some of the other islands. All right, so this is the thing that a lot of people are concerned about, though, the rate there and what that will mean. So again, if you missed it, all residential consumers with low and moderate electricity usage will benefit, apparently, as the base rate tariff for the first 200 kilowatt hours will be reduced to zero. It is currently about almost 11 cents, 10.95 cents.
Which makes no difference to your electricity.
No, man, don't say that.
I mean, come on. Okay.
A little tiny bit.
Okay. So my fuel, the bill that we just talked about, was $213. My fuel surcharge was $153 of that.
Oh my gosh. But
so
when you looked at
the 200, right?
The first 200.
The first 200 was $21. And then the 201 to 800 was $53. And then the fuel surcharge, right? So
hey, $21 could mean the difference between you having a bill with VAT on it and not.
Well, that's really true. And when you look at it, like BPL can not afford to give much more. I mean, I think that's a stretch in of itself to give every person with a BPL around $15 and $20.
They're in a terrible financial state.
Right.
But maybe they'll have a less elaborate Christmas party this year.
Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. Yeah. So like you said, maybe it will put your bill from in the VAT category because they say low to moderate use. So this isn't for like heavy usage, right? So maybe it will put your bill under the VAT amount, which is I think 300. I think it's so that saves you an additional amount. So maybe that could help.
Possibly.
Even though my bill is usually under the VATable amount. But other people may have that benefit, which is great. Yeah. It's something.
A little something.
It's a little something.
But of course, already people are proclaiming it. Oh, it's a new day.
Every day is a new day.
Well, some days look very similar, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Many days are similar. Many years. Decades, some would say.
But it's taking you closer to free electricity. Right? It's one step. It's like
this is like a baby ant.
It's
baby ant step.
Yes, because free electricity. So this is like maybe like one of the first steps. Okay, so 0 to 200, you pay 0.
You can cause it. You can cause a blackout. Talking
and
about
then maybe the end of the year, it'll go to 0 to 800, 0, and you only have to pay the fuel. So maybe this is maybe.
You need some. You had anything to eat today? I don't know what's happening.
Not just
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Let's hear from you all, though. Let's get more of your reaction. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
One of my pet peeve projects, because I do have a background in electronics, is to find a way to create free energy. But that'll be the day.
Mm-hmm.
Island Grid, I understand. Are they aiming to raise $130 billion to fund the transmission and distribution?
If they're what, sorry?
Are they trying to raise $130 million to fund transmission distribution of electricity?
There will be an equity offer.
So would there be?
They've said that, yeah. They're going to raise, they're going to try to.
So that's a plus. But I'm wondering if we were to use the ideas that persons were calling in earlier with, which sound great. How soon would we be able to see that up and running? And like they say, by July, we'd be seeing 200 kilowatt hours wiped away completely. How long would that happen if we were to put solar panels on every home that's available to do so? Would we be seeing a reduction?
And who's the we again? The government, you're saying? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ideas that were coming across earlier, it sounds great. But I'm saying now we're going to see a reduction in the first 200 kilowatt hours by July. If we were to implement the concept that's been spoken about earlier, when would we be able to see that power reduction? Would that be in July?
No.
So maybe we can incorporate what the ideas are coming across along with what they're doing now. Wouldn't that be a good idea? If it's feasible?
Yeah, over time.
Yeah, over time. But someone help me with this. I do recall Leslie Miller was talking about the LNG. Now we're back to LNG. Did he face some opposition with Shell North America and Focal in implementing that reduction in cost with using LNG some years ago?
Don't know where the opposition came from, but there was opposition, or specifically where it came from. But hey, we're here now, and so, boy, we'll see. We will see.
Thanks, Ray.
It's all just words until
there's action.
We see.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this off air, right? I mean,
Oh yes, we are.
The idea of, and I don't think it's helpful now because it's not going to happen. Could it have been nice? Maybe, but I think there could have been more problems than good.
Yeah.
If the government were to supply everybody with solar panels.
Yeah, because what we started talking about was the maintenance and roof stability,
questions about the quality and all this stuff. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I'm just saying some of these things you don't want the government in your life. Sometimes it's better to do this on your own. And you can do it. It is not going to be cheap, but you can do it. The government, at least the government, is not stopping you from doing that.
Right.
And you can control the quality and all the other things that are going to be required for this. and then nobody telling you anything or give you stupid excuses or whatever. One day this, and because of this, I need to take this from this. Nah, do it yourself. Save, forego something, but take that out of your head. Let's get them out of our lives as much as possible. That is what we need. Less intrusive government. And we just need them to provide the minimum, the bare minimum of what they're not doing that. Right? Yeah. Let them focus that attention on fixing BPL and maybe getting New Providence's public transportation system up and running.
Oh, don't
How
start
about
on
that?
Please don't start on
the idea, again, there's nothing in theory wrong with it, but there'll be more.
And to try to do it simultaneously while trying to fix BPL is another.
There's going to be
another headache. So rescue yourself a little bit for now.
Seriously.
Until you get to a place where you have a more stable, whatever, government or BPL.
They are
or
here
whatever.
to make they should be making what you want to do
possible,
easier,
right?
Less
correct.
Insanity.
Yeah. But I think we too have to.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say.
We have to get to the place where we want to break free from what's norm with BPL. We have to get to the place where we say, okay, I have no control over BPL, but I want to have power every single day. What is it going to take for me to have that? You're heading into the summer. Temperatures are already at record levels, right? The demand on BPL will cause certain failures throughout the summer. There's already load shedding. So the government can't rescue you today. So what are some of the things that are for you to take ownership and help yourself starting today? It may take you a year to sacrifice, go into a coffee store every morning and maybe put that money aside and use that as a down payment. But what are tangible steps that you can take right now?
If you're building a house, make sure you incorporate that now into the construction, right? You got to think about this.
Yeah.
So you can be less dependent on this and the government.
Yeah.
Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning to Questa again.
Good morning.
Hi.
I rise in this honorable house on a point of information, Mr. Speaker.
You got 30 seconds, according to the speaker.
Yeah, Dwight. Not Dwight. Jeff. They call me GNN, not my friend. So they call me the GNN. But to quite Dwight and to Questa, there are countries out there like Germany and Switzerland that would solarize the entire Bahamas as a thing against their carbon credits credit. You see, they will come and solarize. I surprised Grammy and call you and tell you that again. Graham always said that. They would do all of our houses for free.
Right.
In order to leverage for their solar credits, payment for their solar credits. That's all I call it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well. Yeah. Hey, well, that sounds, if it wouldn't cost them anything,
yeah.
Maybe. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. Are you there?
Yes, good morning. I'm calling with a point of information, Dwight. Just give me the 60 seconds. Dwight, you show us individuals that is getting the financing. They're getting financing because they are leveraging the fact that government will be taking the services from getting the energy from them. The person who called and says, will it be done by July? Now solar farms that the government announced is being done by July, but yet we'll be getting those credit, those 200 things for free. What it is, Dwight, is a policy decision and a strategy concerning smart grid system that you spoke about earlier for the communities in the neighborhoods that they can do with the extra. And once banks and other financial people know the means of recovering your money because you can sell to the grid or deliver to the grid, in the same thing that the government has been promising to bring proper legislation for the PPA and the IPA and everything else to allow this to happen for the homeowners. This isn't government spending physical money or doing it on your roof. The government is not going to go the same way you get new shingles for your roof or put whatever on your roof. There's regulations and things to set standard. But essentially, the government policy incentivizes individuals and financial institutions to actually do these things. And we have a grid that is able to accept the electricity from them and deliver it to the people. this is not rocket science, right? This isn't something we're inventing. This is something that's been going on for 3 decades. So it's not, might be new to us, but it's been done all around the world. Hundreds of megawatts have been generated by this and integrated in system and something of that sort. So I'm simply saying that if we are to develop the Bahamas for the benefits of our future children, grandchildren, whatever, we have to have clear, concise, competent conversation. Simply put, to have government that listens to the collective intelligence of the people than the small select family, friends, and lovers they now consult.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Let's take another call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, DeQuest. How you doing?
Doing well.
Dwight, see, Alan just made a critical point just now. It's a shame on us to take away the children's inheritance. You know what I mean? For us to be on the radio talking about how it is good to get government, less government, and government out of this and government out of that, and to privatize this and that. That's the children's inheritance. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, like I always said before, the intended intention of corporations like BPL and BTB, Telco, whatever, the phone and electric, is for it to be public owned. You understand? And we are supposed to make sure that the individuals who we elect do their job properly. You know what I mean? It is a failure of the public to hold their leaders accountable that we are in this position right now. You understand? Because there is no reason why those companies, well, Telco was profitable when it was sold, but there's no reason why BPL or BEC should be running in any kind of debt right now. You understand where I'm coming from? We need to demand that things run right. You know what I mean? And then, Dwight, and you talking about how, like, the government is supposed to be responsible for the atmosphere and making everything right and controlling and regulating things, right? But I mean, Dwight, what are these quasi-government organizations that popping up all over the place that are responsible for regulation? We need to do a show on that so we can understand.
Like what? What do you mean?
Which part? I didn't hear you.
Like what? What are you talking about?
Like IRCA, right? And some trade commission and Mr. Lang has been having, and even the central bank. But Mr. Lang has
popping
been having
up.
Some individuals.
What do you mean by popping up? I mean, these are government bodies. This is not popping up.
No, I'm talking about quasi-government agencies, like, for example, like even the last one Mr. Lang had on with the gentleman, and he was talking. I mean, it seemed as if the agency is scrapping. Mr. Lang was asking them all type of questions, and it seemed as if they're still in the process of finding individuals. He was even on the radio, like he's recruiting people, like if anyone is interested in this and that, you could come down. And I mean, it's like we are forming these bodies, right? And the thing about it is this. If these are things that we need to run our society, right, Dwight, shouldn't we have individuals like in the community and in the public, professionals and locals, shouldn't we have them getting together and forming the policy and shaping these things based upon our needs, right? But see, it's not like that. We have outsiders, the quasi-government agencies where individuals write our policy who are not a part of our society, right? That is where the private part comes in the private government cooperation. And see, it is those regulations that regulate us, not based upon our personal needs, but based upon international standards. So you see, when we allow these things to be happening, right, so we have our government who is not really regulating us. No, but see...
I got to stop you. What you're saying is not correct at all. And yes, sometimes they do look at international best practices, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it's suitable for our needs. And not just willy-nilly out of nowhere doing stuff. So that's really unfair. But these things are being done so that there is less of the corruption that we've seen in the past, right? Where the minister is responsible for every single thing. So I'm not sure what you're saying. Okay. Boy, anyway, let's get to this text message. This person says, I live in the Turks and Caicos Islands and all the utilities are privately owned. Let me tell you, it's amazing. The power is stable and if it goes out, you can reach them right away and they respond. Not cheap, but reliable. All right, that's great for you. I don't know if anybody's suggesting that it needs to be privately owned, but perhaps privately managed. So again, there's less of that interference from the minister who will put their best friend there or something else there and can call up anybody and turn you off or turn you on without you doing what you needed to do. We don't need a situation like that. Privately owned doesn't have to be privately owned.
Just managed.
But managed without some of the interference that we have seen in every single sphere in
When
this
you're
country.
on, when you should be off.
Yeah, absolutely. This discount is to make it more palatable, the swing more palatable. Well, anyway, definitely to make it more palatable, sure. I don't know if I'd use the word swing.
Well, for sure, your usage is probably going to increase over the summer months. So, July, August are typically very, very hot months. You're going to be using your air conditioning more. So it's just kind of to bring your bill a little bit back in, I guess. So the $20, it'll, bring it down a little bit. Yeah.
This person says here, I'll wait to see the discounts. My bill would have been $300, but the AC usage in the summer doubled the surcharge rate.
Yeah.
And VAT was added to the bill because it was nice. But over the ceiling. What? No business intends to give money back without somehow making a profit, waiting for things to hit the fan. Shedding, that is.
I mean, that's a very interesting text, though, because I don't know if you have ever been in a situation where you have a gift card and you go to a particular place to redeem said gift card and you end up getting more items than the gift card is worth, because in your mind, you're like, oh, well, I have this $50 gift card, so you get more things and then you still end up spending money. So that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if stuff hits the fan and the power is off, nothing's going to happen. So don't be too concerned. Right?
Nothing.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Fan might get a little damaged, depending on.
They'll clean up might have to happen.
Liquefied natural gas has several drawbacks as a text, despite its benefits. Here are some of the key cons. Oh boy, it's a long. Whoa. The whole show. While environmental impact, while LNG burns cleaner than coal and oil, it still releases significant amounts of carbon dioxide and methane, potent greenhouse gases contributing to climate change. High energy consumption. The process of liquefying natural gas requires a substantial amount of energy, which can reduce the overall efficiency and environmental benefits of using LNG. Infrastructure costs. The infrastructure required for LNG production, storage, and transportation, liquefaction plants, storage tanks, specialized ships, regasification terminals, is extremely expensive to build and maintain. Safety risks. LNG is highly flammable, and its production, transportation, and storage pose safety risks. Spills or leaks can lead to fires or explosions, posing dangers to workers and nearby communities. Economic volatility. LNG markets can be volatile, with prices subject to fluctuations due to geopolitical issues, supply distribution or disruptions, and changes in demand. Long-term viability. As the world moves towards renewable energy sources, the long-term viability of LNG as a major energy is uncertain. Investments in LNG infrastructure may become stranded assets as renewable energy technology advances and becomes more economically viable. Okay, so it goes on, but water usage, they're talking about the amount of water and leaks. If there are leaks, there can be issues. Okay, thank you for that text. Callers, we'll get to in a second. This person says here, LNG plants, storage containers, and pipelines can explode. This isn't like the oil leak in Abaco that's sight unseen. The actual plan for safety is critical. These foreign companies have a track record of fleeing when disaster strikes. Dorian was in 2019. Was the Equinor oil spill cleaned up as yet? Boy. Let's take this call. Good morning, you're on the air. Hi, good morning, caller, you're on the air. No? All right. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. And toll free 242-300-5720. I know a lot of people, a lot of callers today. There's our things, there's our stuff. BEC, BPL, that's our company, our corporation. It's our stuff. But I mean, is it really? And what, do they ever do anything for you if you pay them off in full? If when your appliance is destroyed, your electronics are destroyed, does your company help you out in any way, or do they make your life a living hell in order to get to get a little something back? Have you ever gotten anything back?
Other than is it PTSD? What do you call it? Yeah, I have that every holiday.
That's what they've given you?
Every holiday. Or every summer. Like whenever more people are going to be home than usual, and there's going to be more electricity usage, I have that trigger.
I was a little terrified this Labor Day weekend.
I get that. I'm like, oh my gosh. Is electricity is going to
charge
go
up everything and make sure everything's good to go.
Cool the room down
Just in case.
I get that.
Leave all the ACs on in case the power
just
goes
in
off,
case
which dries up your bill.
Right.
And
just
then,
in case. Right.
So.
Right. Make sure everything free. Have frozen bottles of water in the to help cool me down, or the defrosted drink. That's what I have.
That's what your electricity company has done for you.
And then, of course, anxiety over, okay, how much is it going to cost me to refill the tank that fuels the generator? So expense and anxiety.
Well, you're one of them fancy ones with a generator, eh?
Don't call me fancy, man. I don't like that. I'm just an average girl that bought a house that had a generator already. Yeah.
Well, look at you. Let's take this final call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Strachan. Good morning, DeGraffo.
Morning.
You know, Dwight, these talk shows, and, it's so much futility going on in this country, right? It's sickening for a conscious person. The last text are very brilliant as to the disadvantages of LNG, right? And the turnover ratio for British thermal units as compared to diesel fuel, which burns slower, right? But I suggest you get a generator because I just want to highlight this. All of this talk about carbon credits, carbon emissions, et cetera, but I still see the other day on some documentation by Linwood in which there was a shanty town there where they said the people just moved from one shanty town to the next, and you saw the coal kill in the back. The people still burning coal and chopping down wood, right? But we're still talking about environmentalism. Let's remind ourselves that burning coal also releases CO2 into the atmosphere, okay? And then, I just a simple question, Dwight. Would you buy a car and never change the terminal, the battery terminal, the metal terminal, the copper or lead? Because my father at one time couldn't believe that the terminal was finished. It was done. It wasn't any more good. He couldn't believe it because he couldn't conceive that it could still be there, but it actually, because of heat dissipation all the time, it actually became useless. So this is the same thing with the infrastructure, the antiquated infrastructure, BPL. How some of my schoolmates, very educated people who knows about electricity, electrical generation. So what I'm saying is the lack of clairvoyancy, right, and malfeasance and political interference why is it that you telling me now intelligent people couldn't have anticipated that the infrastructure is antiquated and need to be changed? Why they wait and tell them the type of BS that we allow in this country, Hey, if I do not make children, this place is becoming, this is a disgrace, man. Bless up.
Right. Well, I think they have been telling us this for a long time, a long time. But again, successive administrations have been at various points tossing, kicking, the can here, there, and everywhere, doing little things, and then others come in and change it, and so there's been no clear, consistent plan for the whole thing. And somebody raised a point earlier as well, a caller, what if another administration comes in
and it's changed it all. Right. And that's a problem, going back to change things. And so it takes up a lot of time doing that. And then you got to find something new. It's no longevity, no consistency.
The only thing consistent, the blackouts.
No, anxiety and PTSD. Yes. That's a PTSD. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we will see. And again, you could buy your friend some lunch.
No, take that couple of dollars and put that aside for your deposit on your things, your generator, your solar, whatever.
Oh, my goodness.
Monthly, because that's a monthly savings. Yeah. And don't be fooled into using more electricity because you're saying, the first 200 free. That's a psychological
Turn
impact.
on a couple light switches and you're done.
Right. Oh, yeah, they said the first 200 free so I can burn my air conditioner all night. Don't change your habits.
Wow. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. We're going to take a break for news and be back with business. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
But I'd like to just pretend you cling to your papers and then...
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is no matter what your banking needs. Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
Here's to the go-getters, the early risers, and the late-night dreamers. You, the visionaries, painting futures in your mind, in your studio, your office, your sacred space. Here's to the adventurers, explorers of every realm. To you, the innovators, turning the cogs of progress. In a world where connection is a lifeline, a pathway to possibilities. Alive is the perfect connection for everyone, every lifestyle, every day.
Visit bealive.com today.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
All those loans I had were so old. Ocean Loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean, and this morning we are going to be talking with Ahmad Thompson. He has a new book and a podcast. He's going to tell us all about this, and we're very pleased to have him back with us. Ahmad Thompson, certified trainer, speaker, HR expert. There's a very long list. We'll go on all day if we continue with this, but always a pleasure to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Duquesa. Good morning, Bahamas. It is indeed a pleasure to be here again, Dwight. It's always good to be with you and your guests.
All right. So the book is called Shift into Focus.
Yes.
But it's got a lot of interesting spellings for these words.
Yes,
shift
yes.
and focus.
Indeed.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, the words shift and focus are intentional. The shift is because I want people to understand that anything you want in life must come from you. I think we have enabled a country, a generation that feels like they deserve something. And they're looking to everyone else to give them what they think they want or think they deserve, versus doing whatever they can to get what they want. And when you take responsibility,
this fits in with what we were talking about
we
earlier.
were just talking
about that. BPL.
If you take responsibility for what you do not have or what you do want, It is difficult, but you are expected. God wants you to take advantage of what He's given you to get to your next level. So you can't shift by expecting someone to just, here you go, Dwight, this is for you, right? That comes along the journey sometimes. People gift you, people favor you, they give you things. But you can't sit around waiting for something to happen for you to shift your focus. Additionally, so the why means that you are responsible. I need you to take full control of what you are looking for and own that. The K in focus means that I've realized, Dwight, that whenever I have decided to adopt the kingdom mindset, when I realize that my daddy is the king of the universe, like nothing that I want is denied of me or from me unless God says no. When if you know somebody, the question Dwight at the passport office, you act like that. You know somebody who you could call and say, look here, Mary, I come in there today, get the passport ready. You just walk stronger, you talk stronger, your back is straightened up. So why don't we adopt our kingdom mindset? Why don't we act as though our Father is the author of all things and treat ourselves like the royalty God says we are? But you have to adapt to that kingdom mindset by adopting that kingdom mindset. And by adopting that kingdom mindset, your world literally transforms. It does take time, but it does not remain the same. And so when you take control of the you-ness of it all, when you adopt the kingdom mindset, literally, your shift is inevitable.
Yeah.
So does the book speak to how one makes that shift? Because it does take a mindset shift to come from a place of victimhood or entitlement into a place of taking ownership.
Absolutely.
So in your book, how do you help guide people to stepping into ownership versus entitlement or victimhood?
Definitely. So the book is actually called Shifting the Focus, A Guide to Living a Purposeful Life. And it really is a journey of faith. It's a journey of realizing that all that God has for you is possible, but you must start with your mindset. Right? And so what we've done in this book is that I started the book by saying there's two authors. There's a Marisha Thompson and there's the Holy Spirit. And as I read this book from time to time, I'm like, there's no way that this came from me. This is not an original thought. I am not that good, honestly. And I realize now as I continue to read and reread and go through this book, it's like, it's truly an opportunity for people to tap into the faith they have. Because it starts with the mindset and then it moves into activity. I talk about a chapter in the chapter is called Faith Ain't Out of Style. And I think we have allowed technology and the world and advancement and things to get away from it. Grammy teaches that time. Grammy said, look, you can't give up on faith. He has so many things prepared for you, acquired for you. All you have to do is trust him, but you got to also work. And I think the world we're living in, everything is. I saw something on Instagram last night where Apple is going to be doing an advance to iOS 18,000 whatever, and it says that you can put in a math problem, and it will solve it like automatically for you. When I was in school, only about 5 years ago, right? We had like the regular calculator. You had to work it out on your paper, the teacher looking for the workout. Yeah. Now you put a problem as advanced as you can imagine in your phone and it tells you automatically. I'm talking about instantly what the answer is. That is not going to happen in faith. It's not going to happen in your life, in your journey of development. You are going to have to work. And the guide is more of an opportunity to it's like I come to Jesus to an extent as well. Look, man, wake up, get it together. You can't wait for things to fall into your lap. That's never going to happen. Yeah. It's just not going to happen that way.
I want to step back a little bit. Why do you think we are there, this spirit of entitlement and feeling that we deserve these things, even though we haven't put the work in? What happened? Why are we there?
I talked to somebody on Monday. I don't know, because my grandmother is 88. And today, she called me on the way to the show. She's like, hey, I look at the bread today. Because the ring and make the yeast. And she was like, fine. Okay, Grammy, no problem. Whenever you get to it, all is well. I don't ever remember my grandmother being less than a worker. She raised 5 children after her husband died at age 40. All her children were under age 18. She built a home that they had just started to build when he died. And she built the house. She was a self-employed person from she was 8 years old. Right? My parents are hard workers. They worked. They survived. They pushed through for our family. They provided for us. My sister, my brother, and I. We have examples of that. I don't know, Dwight, when it turned from I will do everything I can, use all I have to make my life better, to what you gonna do for me?
Yeah.
What you got? What could I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I believe it's an element of advancement because children today, the generation today, has been born into accessibility. They didn't have to actually work for it. It was just, here you go, this is an easier version. No problem with that, no issue with that, but it also enabled people to feel like, I deserve this thing.
Right.
And I don't know what specifically has caused that, but I believe that we have work to do to not necessarily reverse that, but to intervene. You can operate in a mindset that I deserve, but what are you going to do to get to that point? Right? Because it's similar to the kingdom mindset. What I have is not what I deserve, but it's also what I know my Father says I should have. At the same time, he's saying to me, trust me, work for it. Don't sit by and wait for me to do it. What you can do, faith without works is dead. Very simple. But what will you do to get what you think you deserve and or want? It's never going to fall into your lap.
I really think he answered it, though. You know.
Yeah, no.
I really think that he answered it
Although
because
I have a theory on what it is.
Right.
It's politics.
You know.
Politics and political parties.
But I also think too, we are enabling people. For instance, if you have, I heard a story the other day where this lady was working in public service. There was a shortage of janitress at a local school, and one school was like 50 people were there, just in the spirit and in the work of janitorism, if you whatever you call it. And she realized that, okay, DeQuessa, we have a need at so and so. The lady was like, "Yeah, daddy, I ain't going nowhere."
Right.
Mom, this is the official letter report here.
Right.
The lady goes, the person who invited her to go to the school, goes to the office, and the MP tells her, "Darling, it ain't so. She can stay where she is because that's how it can be."
Well, that's a part of it.
It's a part of it. We are causing things to not get better in some ways,
it's
right?
a part of it. But you spoke about your Grammy being 88. Like, I mean,
88 and still working.
Yeah, but I mean, a part of the way that we have advanced as the human race, how we have advanced, like Grammys are 30s. Grammys are like, so Grammys are still out working. They can't be home nurturing and that sort of stuff. So the entire fabric of community has changed the years that we were born, and with each generation it changes.
Definitely.
So that's really something to talk about, shifting your mindset back to some of those older principles
100%.
that have proven.
How widespread do you think this is? Is this the majority of people now, or is it just?
This is definitely bigger than small. This is, I wouldn't say majority,
but it's widespread.
But this is widespread, brother. I work with multi-generational people. I work with people who are 50-something and people who are 19 years old. And it's like, it's a vast difference. The population of workforce today, there is this element of, we have to allow this generation to be creative and innovative. We can't create an environment where people feel pressured or mandated to report to work. But they want to be there.
Right.
It's very weird because if the more you make it mandatory to be present at 9 o'clock and not 8 and not 9:01, watch it come 9:10 then.
Right.
And let me see what you can do.
Right. We were talking about that too.
Right? And then additionally, watch this person take 1 hour to do 8 hours worth of work. It may be some question with efficiency and quality, but there's a sense of emergency that is not urgency. Right? I don't want to be bothered for 8 hours, so let me just do this in 1 hour.
Right.
So what it takes the 45, the 50-year-old person to do all day or 2 days, the 19-year-old, 18-year-old person doing it in hour.
Is it good quality though?
Is it good quality? At the same time,
And
they
how much
also
did AI help them to do?
I into AI. I'm in because I'll be speaking at the SHRM conference next week about agility versus fragility. Right. The title of the conversation is, well, I'm calling it a storm is coming, because whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, AI is present. It's just like, it's a tool, Dwight. It's not an ultimatum. It's not some prison. When my Grammy was 10, 11, 15, 20, she didn't use a KitchenAid mixer to bake bread. She used her hands, still use her hands today, But she realizes, wait a minute now, hold on. All right, this machine could do 5 loaves of bread versus 1 loaf of bread. The quality ain't bad, it's still coming out good. The customers ain't complaining about it. I still taste good. Let me do this. When you call the plumber, Dwight, You call the plumber 14 years ago, 15 years ago, he came with a hammer and whatever plumbers is used. Today, he came in with one thing, which you can't recognize, but when he finish, it's done.
Yeah.
Right? It's a tool that you can use to improve your whatever. It doesn't mean you must. It doesn't mean you're locked in or entitled to. It simply means, however.
No, in the future, though, when you open the doorbell and the plumber rings, it'll be like a box. It'll be a machine that rolls in.
I don't disagree with
You have to
you.
get comfortable with being eating humans in the years to come.
What? To be
you
what?
Have, you have to get comfortable with that idea. You know the movie where you're like eating humans?
Eating?
Yeah, just get comfortable.
Yeah. Wow.
Technology is here to stay.
I believe that if anyone to disregard the future of the world, right? It does not mean that you must forego the things that you've come to, the things that you've learned, the things that you've experienced. It simply means this is a tool to help you to get better, to be stronger, to be wiser, right? You could sit down and go through the resume, 1,000 people are prepared for you, but you could also use a platform that says, are these people qualified by way of the standard we've set? You don't have to be relying on or giving in to the system, but you can certainly use the system. It's a tool. If you treat it as a tool that you can use or not use, it's going to make life easier for you. That doesn't mean you disregard all the things that you've done in the past.
Well, adapting to change isn't always easy.
No.
But I have another question,
Sure.
right? Because when you talk about your book and shifting into focus, and you
Yes.
speak about the fact that it's about kingdom living and Daddy God and all that
Yes,
sort
yes,
of
yes.
stuff, right? How do you relate this to someone who may say God isn't for me or because of church hurt or because of, God wouldn't have me in a bad situation, like how does this book help the person reconcile the God within?
Guys, in 2019, I was saved, right? I was going to do a training that morning. It was like 7:08 in the morning. And I heard a voice said, "You will leave I's play."
Wow.
And I thought it was unemployed. Like, what's going on? I thought it was a trick.
Right.
So I'm literally looking in the bush. I'm like, one of my employees is playing, tricks in the
Right.
morning. And I didn't see anyone. I heard it again. "You believe I's play." And I immediately know, okay, this is God, but not God. What to do? The training starting soon, like in an hour. My belly immediately breaks down. And I said to him, "What do you mean?" You are acting as though everything you have, everything you are experiencing is you.
Oh, wow.
It is not you. He said to me, change your mind or wish you did. I'm going to take my hand off of you. This is like, as I'm walking back and forth in the walkway, and I sweating bullets, my belly breaking down, I feel like I'm about to pass out. And then he said, "Go do your thing, do your training, and we can talk afterwards." I don't know what I talked about that day. I don't know what, nobody complained, so I'm assuming all went well. But once they left, it was like 5:10, and immediately I broke down. And he said, "Listen to me, son. All that I am calling you to do is what I want you to do. But you are acting as though this is about you and not about us. You are forgetting who you are, whose you are, and what we have called you to do in the earth." And there are people listening to this message right now, to Cressa and Dwight, who feel as though the God isn't real, that God isn't this and God isn't that. I cannot express to you how important it is that you realize how good and how real and how present God is. This book is designed to help people to realize that in spite of all that you have gone through, in spite of the things that you may feel God caused or turned his eye off you or turned his back on you, he is 100% real. When he saved me in that moment, it wasn't a matter of, that wasn't easy. It was difficult to hear God say to me, "You believe I's play." What you mean? How do you mean, God? What do you mean? I don't believe that, but you acting like you do, son. What he said to me was, "You are using the gifts that I've given you, but you've forgotten the gift giver." I was very consumed with validation. I wanted people to say good job. I wanted people to pat my back and praise me versus praise who had given me the opportunity and the gift to do so. And that was October 20th, 2019. My life has never been the same since. That November, I went on a journey. I said, "Lord, I need you to help me because it seems I'm doing my own. Guide me on this journey." And every morning I would pray. I went to church and we were doing this prayer for 30 days in November. And I sat there for the first 10 days listening to people pray. Because I always knew God, I always knew of God, I believed in God, but I don't believe that I'd given my life to God at that point. And so I would pray, thank you Lord for waking me up this morning, amen. Right? Regular prayer time. And I didn't know how to pray. I went to church, I just listened to people. I said, okay, there's someone, she praying for that, he praying for this, there's some more. And I just eventually became closer to, connected to, bound with God. And then it was like, literally, my life changed. And then the pandemic comes. And then I'm on furlough. And then there's difficulty. And then God says, start a business. Lord, I ain't got no dollars. The people send me home. I ain't got $1 in my name. I wait on NIB to give me this money to send me my little unemployment to do. What you mean start a business? With what? And he said, go to the Ministry of, what do people name? Where you get your business license. Inland Revenue. And sign up. And I'm like, sure. I signed up, and the very next day, somebody called me. It was a government organization, called me. Do you do so-and-so? Yes, I do. Can you do it on Thursday? Yes, I can.
There you go.
And literally, my life changed. Is that going to be typical for everybody? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you must realize that everything you want, everything you need, everything you are entitled to, right, is in God's hand. He wants to see you prospering. Sometimes we allow our circumstances to dictate and refute what God has said about us. You have the power to, when God created the human race, he said, you are created with dominion. Take dominion of the world. Not where you live, not your corner, not your cousin, the world, the entire planet.
We're talking with Ahmad Rashad Thompson. The book is Shift into Focus. All right, so we'll get into details about the launch in a bit.
Yes, yes.
Once, let's say you've shifted into focus, but you still have to work with people who are entitled or feel entitled and aren't there either or yet. How do you navigate this?
It is a journey. And I don't want people to feel like, this is how I consider it. When I was saved, when God saved me, and I didn't understand what that meant when I was younger. I didn't understand what it meant to be saved. And I always thought it was some huge theatrical speaking in tongues situation, right? But for me, it was a decision, and it was realizing that God wants me to, and it was a decision I had to make. So the shift doesn't mean that, oh, wow, I'm saved today, all is well. It only gets harder. It gets harder for me. It's harder because now I realize that God expects something of me. And that also means he expects me to help somebody else along that journey. My purpose in life, I truly believe, is to help you become a better version of you, right? And that comes through leadership, that comes through development, that comes through coaching, that comes through in purpose, all of these things. But ultimately, me being saved is now me being called to finish what God has me to do in the earth. The focus that you must adapting the kingdom mindset, taking for it is a daily situation. It is not something that just goes away. It only gets more difficult. Right? Now, difficult doesn't mean, what's the word I want to use? It doesn't mean that it is going to destroy you. It simply means you have to work harder, right? Because not getting comfortable. Because even right, in this year, January of this year, I was having the second annual Shift conference, right? And God was like, you talking to people about shifting, and you won't shift in your mindset about me. You're expecting me to do what I did last year. You can't tell me to do my job. You need to trust me. Watch me do what I say I was going to do, but don't expect it of me. Now, what that means is you can expect God will do for you, but don't limit God to do it the way you want it to be done. That's difficult, right? That's challenging because now you're putting God in a box that he cannot ever fit in. He's asking you to trust, and sometimes the instructions God gives you is like, man, look, I ain't into this. No, let's not do this. And the way I've asked God to talk to me, please don't whisper. Don't send me no sign. Whop me upside my head. Tell me right up front what to do. And literally, he does not allow me to guess. Son, do this. Man, God, that sounds a little do. I ain't never do that.
Right.
But at this point now, I don't question.
Okay.
At this point, it's sure. Say less.
So, Ahmad, as you think about shifting yourself after being saved and working with other people who may not be believers or who may have different beliefs, how has self-leadership helped you to elevate in your kingdom living? Because we like to tell other people how they should change their leadership ways or change their ways. And self-leadership is one of the hardest forms of leadership. So how has that helped you to elevate in your walk? Just self-leadership.
Yeah. Self-leadership is definitely a choice, right? And you can't continue to tell people to do something and not be doing that yourself. So for me, I need to be, this is my prayer every day. Allow me to be evidence of what it is you call people to do, right? I want to be an expression of your favor in the earth. I want people to look at me and assume it can't be this man, but it got to be God. Mom, sir, please know that it is. I am enabled by God. I am entrusted in God. God gives me the opportunities. It is not me. It is not my ability. It is God using me to show people what it is. And so for me, self-leadership is when God says something, I do it, right? When he says not to, I don't. That takes me, that's every day. That's difficult to do. When God, that is heavy, and I know if I enter that.
This text here, I always say this, but why do people or Christians always believe blessings come in the form of money? They never say health or sanity or having a solid and caring family or home. I don't know if that's the case, but you do see a lot of people believe that, like you've made it, and so
yeah, I don't know if we're talking about that specifically, but I believe that people have or are confusing that prosperity only means monetary prosperity, right? But I believe the life that I'm living, I'm not in any way rich. I'm not in a position where I could go just buy a house tomorrow cash, right? But I do know that where I am today is not where I was yesterday. Every day there's a journey. Every day there is a blessing. Every day I'm asking God to allow me to be evidence to people in the earth so they can see that if God can do it for DeCressa, he can do it for Ahmad. If he can do it for Ahmad, he can then do it for Dwight. And it doesn't mean the same thing.
Right.
It means just it.
Right. Yeah.
If he can use me, and if God could use Ahmad. I talked about this when Carnival had just gone by. In 2009, when Carnival first came, I was in the road kind of so nasty. bad. Loose kind of,
I think I saw a picture.
Probably did, Dwight. And the reason I'm talking about self-leadership is because as you evolve in your thinking, in your mindset, your choices change. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time. But I thought to myself, I don't even have an interest anymore in certain things. There's nothing about it that even tempts me at this point. But it takes time, it takes development. Do not give up on what you're trying to accomplish. Those things do take moments and they take effort.
Your choices will eventually begin to align with your values.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the process with the book. When did you start writing it? And you can tell us about the forward as well.
Absolutely. This book was an assignment. So this whole shyft thing came up in 2020. It was December of 2020, and the Holy Spirit said, people are acting as though the world, that God has closed down, right? Because the world was in a pandemic and things was rough, God is still in business. People need to know that I am still alive. I am not on furlough. I meaning God, still open for business, still can help. I'm still able to do everything people have forgotten that I can do. So the shyft became a video series initially. I had a 5-person video series talking about the word shift, right? So SHYFT focus. Focus was the word. FOKUS was the acronym. And F was face your fear. O was opportunity versus obstacle. K was adopting a kingdom mindset. U at the time was usurping the playing field. And S was stepping stone versus stumbling stone. Because God has said to me, people have forgotten, they've chosen the wrong perspective on it versus what is this supposed to teach you? What is it supposed to lead you to? So we did a video series where I interviewed 5 different people who resonated with a particular letter. So we had Simone Bowe talking about Face Your Fear, and she talked about the fact that she was 50 years old when she realized that she'd lived her life in complete fear.
Wow.
And adopted to the fact that, wait a minute, what am I afraid of?
Right.
And it didn't matter if you are 10, 50, 80, 88 like my Grammy. If you are living in fear, you cannot accomplish anything in life. It's just impossible. Right? And fear is also a lie. Fear is a trick of the enemy. The enemy is not, he is very consistent, right? And he knows what we are fearful of. So he whispers in your ear when you get a little brave, don't do that, they ain't believe you. Don't trust them. Don't let them lie to you. He tells you the things that are untrue when God says all the things that are true. O was opportunity versus obstacle. We talked to Derek Smith about that, who talked about the fact that, look, man, and he had lost so much in life and decided to use every obstacle as an opportunity to propel, to get stronger, to get better. We talked with Apostle Raymond Wells on the kingdom mindset, and that was an incredible conversation because he was that was so good. I watch that every other month because it reminds me of how you have to truly adopt that kingdom mindset to get to your next level. I talked with Ryan Payne about usurping the playing field. Ryan had gone from being obese and overweight and very lazy to literally changing the way people see themselves and physically. And he's literally running the market now when it comes to being faithful in terms of your weight and your health and whatnot. And then we talked with Valdez Russell about stepping stone versus stumbling stone. Then we had the conference. We had the first annual Shyft conference, which was in 2022. And then when we did that conference, the Holy Spirit said, write the book. I'm like, write a book? I don't know how to write no book. I just seen this is not my thing. And he would not release me, write the book. So I just started writing. I would start to write certain things. I would just write stuff down. And he said, okay, you need to write the book. The book will be these topics. Right? He gave me all the chapters. He gave me exactly what I should say in terms of like the gist of each chapter. And I started to make the mistake of writing what I felt was necessary versus what I heard was required. And then I stopped. Nothing would come to my mind. And I realized, okay, I was doing my own thing and I wasn't what God called me to do. So then we wrote the book. The book took about a year and a half to complete because life is lifing. You're getting caught up. You got this to do, that to do, and the book to write, and then just time goes away. Next thing you know, it's a year gone by, the book isn't done. And eventually, the book was done, and I read it. And like I said, now, even as I read the book now, there are moments when I realize this is literally the Holy Spirit. This is not from me. This is God's book because there's a message for someone in this book that your life is required to live, right? I mean, you talk about the foreword. It's written by Bishop Neil Ellis. And when I wrote the book, as I was writing the book, the Holy Spirit said to me, he will write the foreword. Now, I know of Bishop Ellis. I didn't know Bishop Ellis. So I don't know no connection. Like, hey, Bishop, write me this. I don't know this. Like, do me this favor.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, fine. I trust you. So I wrote him, and he agreed to do it. But then he said to me,
you say, hey, send me the forward that I know you wrote for me. But no, you
but I told him, I said to him, I said, this is an assignment that I've been told you will do. And he said, oh, really? Talk to me about it. So I told him how I received this. Okay, I won't go against that.
Okay.
If you say, and he said he felt like what I was saying was of God.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So he asked for a first chapter and the last chapter and the introduction. And I'm sharing this with you all because there are times when we believe that we have it all together and we choose not to accept criticism or feedback, right? So if the question says to me, Ahmad, I really believe what you think she is? She ain't a man, look. Take the feedback and use it to make yourself better. He calls me and said, son, who was editing the book for you? And I was like, okay. If you're asking me the question, that means you're not pleased. I said that to myself. So I pulled over on the side of it because I was in the car. I was like, tell me what you're asking. He said, to me, it looks as though you're using someone who may be good in English, but not an actual editor. You can hear your speaking voice versus your writing voice. And there's a big difference. As an author, you are not a speaker. You are a speaker and an author. This book, you need to have a professional editor edit the book because there are things that I'm seeing that shouldn't be in this book. What this book represents, though, this is kingdom work. This is an assignment. I can feel it as I read it, but there are some things from an author perspective you need to correct.
Yeah.
Sir, say less right now. I can fix this because one, I don't want to let God down. Two, this is somebody that's written book upon book upon book upon book upon book. We often take who do I think you're talking to? Do I been on the radio for? Look, man, if you've done what I'm trying to do, why not take your advice? Why not take your feedback? Why not use that and make myself better, right? Versus, we talked, the last time I said about collaboration versus competition. Use the people in your life that God has placed there to help you to get better. And then we did the editor. What I did was, I wonder who he has used. I went to his books and I saw his publisher. I called them. I was like, hello. My name is Marsha Thompson. I'm writing a book. I need you to publish it. He's like, who are you? Sir, here I am. Here's the nature of the book. Here's what I'm writing. Do you have the time to assist me? Like, you know what? Send me it. Let me look at it. I sent him the transcript, the manuscript, And he said, young man, this book is good to be the publisher, editor, all of that stuff.
Excellent.
And they edited the book. They published the book. And here we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here we are.
And you got the launch coming up?
Yes, we have a virtual launch this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. I want you, if you are listening, if you are inspired to write a book, if you're thinking to write a book, if you're afraid to write a book, if you want to learn more about my journey to writing this book, if you want to hear from others in our industry, and just in writing, in the writing industry, what it took for them to become an author, please just text the word SHIFT to 4680192 so we can send you the link to register. We're going to have...
And that's a shift with the Y?
Y or I.
Oh, okay.
People may be listening and all of the time to spell it right or wrong, but just type the word SHIFT to us at 4680192, and my team will send you the link to register. We want you to register so we can expect who is going to be with us. It's at this Thursday, June 13th at 6:30 p.m. We will have, again, a conversation with me regarding the book, more about it. We're going to dive into the book a little bit more. We're going to have some special giveaways. We're going to hear from other authors. We're going to have some special guests. I want to keep them a secret for right now that will join me to talk about their journey to authorship, to talk about their journey to writing a book, to what their experience was like, and how you can also write your book. It doesn't matter that book is 1 page, 500 pages. There is something in you, a story to tell, to help people to get to the next level in life.
Give us the number one more time.
4680192. You just text us to get the link to register for June 13th. That's this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. So you can be a part of the Shift into Focus movement.
And you say it's virtual.
It is virtual.
So you don't have to come out your house.
No, you can stay home. You could be in the company wherever you are. Just join us on this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. where we will have an incredible discussion, an opportunity for you to truly shift into focus.
And where can people buy the book?
Yeah, so you can buy actually, we're happy to announce too that All Seasons Book and Gift Center has given me the opportunity. They've awarded me as Author of the Month.
Oh,
so you can right now go to All Seasons Book and Gift Center in the Palmdale Plaza to purchase the book. At that store, you can buy the book from Through the Pages on Bay Street. You can buy the book on Amazon as well. We have the hardcover, the Kindle version, as well as the paperback that you can purchase. We are also working on our audiobook. For those of us that are into audiobooks, you can listen to that in a couple of weeks. We're working on getting that resolved. And we want you to read this book, to share this book, to truly shift into focus.
You got a podcast as well?
Yes. In May of this year, we launched the I Lead podcast, a place where people come to learn, empower, adapt, and develop. I am of leadership. I want the world to be better. I want our country to be better. And so we are having conversations with 8 dynamic people this year. Our first season will be in 2024. Our second season every year after this will come with 12 episodes. But this year, because we started in May, we started off with Honorable Glennis Hannah Martin. We had Theo Seeley this month. Theo is right now living his best life, I say. He is truly living by faith because Theo right now is the only human being on planet Earth. Hear me and hear me clearly. The only out of 7 billion people on planet ever designed costumes for all of the VI, all of the 8 characteristics in Disney. Only human being. He's Bahamian, he's black, he's male. The only human being on the planet that has designed and been accepted to design costumes for 8 characters in Disney, and that is a huge deal. He talks about that. He talks about his faith, about his journey. We will have Jonathan Hanna in July. We will have Loretta Butler Turner in August. We will have LaSonia Missick in September. We will have Daniel Lowe in October. We will have Franklin Butler in November, and we will have Bishop Neil Ellis in December. Every single episode is about helping you to move forward in your leadership journey, whether you are a leader, a budding leader, no matter who you are, no matter what you are in life. The I Lead podcast is the place you can tune in to learn, empower, adapt, and disrupt. You can find us on www.youtube.com/@the I Lead podcast. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify or on Apple Podcast at the I Lead podcast. We encourage you to subscribe, to share, to join us, to truly lead yourself into your future, to tap into your purpose, and to watch examples of persons who are doing it daily. Yeah. We want you to be the leader that you've been called.
Good morning, caller. We're talking with Ahmad Rashad Thompson. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm impressed with your story.
Thank you so much.
Particularly how you mentioned your grandmother's influence.
Yes.
That's powerful.
She's a blessing.
You might want to update and edit if you talk about 7 billion, because I think we're about 8 billion.
My Lord, what a time. Yes, sir.
But I've been taught that there are really two ways that people can change, either through some religious conversion experience like you had, or brain surgery. And I'm wondering, have you crafted an approach to assist those persons who cannot change through the religious experience but really need an intervention like the ones who are at Samberlin's right now? Do you have any evidence of anyone who would change through the chemical intrusion outside of the religious experience?
I do not.
Okay.
I do
That
not.
would be something to look into, because if you can cross that, you might be onto something else.
Understood.
All right, thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Does it have to get to that point, though? That's the thing, Maybe
No.
with
I
an
mean-
intervention earlier.
I'm sure that there are many people in our may have had mental health challenges or some imbalances and have gotten support and help and have been able to evolve their lives. As, it's like it's an everyday occurrence. We all face certain challenges in life, so I'm sure that they are among us.
Yeah. You got a speech. I think you mentioned it. But tell us more about that before.
Listen, man, I will be in Chicago next week. God, it's so good. This was, I wrote this down as a declaration in 2021 that I would speak on the SHRM stage that year. And a part of my journey, a part of my shift was removing me from all of the equations. I was still very arrogant. I was still very conceited. I was not confident in whose I was and who created me. And there's a huge difference. And God said to me in 2024, who you were in 2021, my brother, my son, you was not even remotely ready to take on what this responsibility is. So last year, I wasn't going to apply to speak at the conference. I'd applied before, I was accepted. I was like, man, it ain't for me, so I can go. And the last day, Holy Spirit said, apply today. So at like 11 o'clock, I started to apply right on my phone, sitting down. I was on vacation, I was on Airbnb. And I said, let me just go ahead. And I applied for the thing, and it took me about 48 minutes to get through the whole application. I submitted it right before the deadline, like 11:58. It was like 11:52, and it was due 11:59 p.m. And then in March of this year, I was getting ready to do a shoot somewhere, and the Holy Spirit said, make a post on LinkedIn. And in that post, tag these 11 people, I think it's 9 or 11 people, and indicate on that post that you love them, that they're your mentor, that you support them. I'm like, that sounds like lotion and iron into that. I don't need to, why I have to do that? He wouldn't release me. He just was incessant that same one. I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll do it. I did it because each of those persons that I tagged have all heard from me before that I value you, you're a mentor of mine. I look to you for, I look up to you, so on and so forth. But that same day, I'm shooting what I was shooting that day. And that day is when I got the acceptance that I was going to speak at the SHRM conference. Now, let me put it in perspective. This conference is between 25,000 to 30,000 people in attendance. Annual global conference. Over 10,000 people apply to speak. 425 are selected. Wow. I'm the second Bahamian to ever speak on this conference, on this stage. I am the youngest Bahamian to ever speak at this conference. This is a huge, huge, huge deal. It is not, it ain't jokey, right? This is a global, over 400 people. And then they wrote me, SHRM. SHRM is like, how do I put it in perspective? Persons don't know what SHRM is. SHRM is the global authorization of all things human resources. So SHRM stands for the Society for Human Resource Management. People from all over the world are SHRM certified. They come to the conference every year to learn, to empower, to adopt, to develop. All of these things. SHRM writes me, after I was accepted, Ahmad, we have purchased and received 50 copies of your book that we will allow you to sign at the conference. So after I'm done speaking, I will be escorted to this place where I can sign my book. This is not Ahmad Rashad Thompson. God. Orchestrating, providing, causing these things to happen. When you sign up for the conference, they ask you, do you have a book? Are you an author? Yes. What's the name of your book? They also make very clear, this is no authorization, no approval that you will be allowed to sell, sign, none of that stuff. Then they send a separate link to apply, to have the book and whatever else. I didn't fill out the book. I didn't do any of that. They emailed me and said, we have purchased and received. My publisher said, Ahmad, do you know that? Sure. I'm like, I didn't know. Would you talk? They didn't do that. They didn't. And then they emailed me and said, we've received the books already. We have set up a station for you. We will set up a station for you when you get to Sherm in Chicago. You'll be able to sign copies of your book for anybody willing to purchase it.
Wow.
And that is a humongous deal.
That's amazing. When is this again?
This is, I'll be speaking on June 25th,
Okay.
2024 at 2 p.m. Central Time. And this is literally a life-changing opportunity because this is the first time that I'll be speaking at this level of audience. 30,000 people are expected to be at this conference, and I'm able to engage them in this way, where I talk about the topic, and the title is called Agile or Fragile. The cost is yours. And so either you choose Dwight and others in the world to adapt.
Right.
Not necessarily, not necessarily adapt to, but adopt the things of the future, or you crumble.
Wow.
It's up to you.
Wow. Why? So the Olympics for human resource.
Yeah.
Literally. That's it.
Amazing.
That is a great way to put
We're
it.
very proud of you.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
much.
You're
Thank you
doing
so
a lot.
much.
You're a very busy man. You made time for little old morning blend.
Listen,
Oh,
thank
boy,
you
I
for
tell you.
having me here, but it's
Appreciate
incredible.
it. Great stuff. Looking forward to reading the book. Again, it's Shift into Focus. Ahmad Rashad Thompson, thank you so much.
Yes. Again, please join us at the virtual launch this Thursday, 6:30 p.m. You can just text 4680192. Text the word shift, and my team will send you the link to join us on Thursday to help you to shift into focus as well.
So after the conference, come back and tell us
Yes,
about that.
absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
great stuff. We're going to take a break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
At Simplified Lending, we've unscrambled the loan process, making it fast and hassle-free. Personal, business, medical. You apply, we'll reply in as little as 24 hours. Call us today at 603-1730 or stop by Simplified Lending in the R&D Plaza on JFK Drive. Simplified Lending for simplified living.
Simplified lending for simplified living. Simplified lending for simplified living.
Applying for a mortgage but don't know where to start? Use these tips to speed up the process. First, visit your bank and get pre-qualified. This is an assessment of your ability to repay. Qualified, carry your passport, a recent pay stub or verification. If self-employed, 2 months bank statements and a bank reference letter. Ask questions. Is there an application or commitment fee? What will the interest rate be? Are there any closing costs or prepayment penalties? Get smart. Get money smart at Bahamas.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Shell is back in the conversation surrounding BPL. Director of Energy and Transport Jo Beth Colby Davis yesterday mentioned the company only in the capacity of providing fuel for the generation of power. During the press conference yesterday to reveal comprehensive energy reforms for the country, Colby Davis said the bulk purchase of LNG for the generation of power will be sourced from Shell. Other partners in the LNG implementation process will include Bahamas Utility Company as the independent power producer under a purchase power agreement. Colby Davis also revealed that an LNG plant will be constructed to generate power at the Blue Hills Power Station in 2026. Colby Davis said LNG is set to revolutionize energy generation on New Providence, explaining that its introduction, along with increased efficiencies, will save BPL and its customers approximately $125.6 million annually. The Bahamas Communications and Public Managers Union set to meet with BTC executives today about concerns related to a new industrial agreement. President of the union, Kendrick Knowles, telling Guardian Business that the main concerns are along the lines of workers' protection from a health and safety perspective, workplace environment, and concerns they have about implementing vacation time changes at end of in today's Guardian Business section. The World Bank upgrading its outlook for the global economy today, estimating that it will expand 2.6% this year on the strength of sustained growth in the United States. The bank's latest outlook marks an increase from the 2.4% growth for 2024 it had predicted in January, and it would match the global economy's 2.6% expansion in 2023. But the agency cautioning that global growth means remain sluggish by past standards, that the poorest countries are struggling under the weight of heavy debts and high interest rates, and that increased trade barriers endanger prosperity worldwide. The brutal wars in Ukraine and Gaza are also inflicting further pressures on regional economies. Stronger than expected growth in the United States, though, the world's biggest economy, accounted for 80% of the World Bank's upgraded outlook. The agency now expects the U.S. economy to expand 2.5% this year, the same as in 2023, but up sharply from the 1.6% the bank had predicted in January. And Apple has jumped into the race to bring regenerative artificial intelligence to the masses, spotlighting a slew of features designed to soup up. And in a move befitting a company known for its marketing prowess, the AI technology coming as part of free software updates later this year is being billed as Apple Intelligence. Even as it tried to put its own stamp on technology's hottest area, Apple acknowledged during the Worldwide Developers Conference that it needs help catching up with companies like Microsoft and Google, which have emerged as the early leaders in AI. Apple is leaning on ChatGPT, made by San Francisco startup OpenAI, to make its often bumbling virtual assistant Siri smarter and more helpful. In your Market Watch recapping trading on the BISX from Monday, your market movers, Focall moving 2,000 shares, closing at $5 unchanged. Consolidated Water down 18 cents, closing at $5.04. Emira Incorporated down 7 cents, closing at $8.45. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,935.02, down 0.25. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And Duquesadine, that is going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you next week.
This esteemed show. See you next week.